All right, so before we really get into the topic of discussion, I wanted to show you guys my outfit that I wore to my mandatory training today. So I was thinking ruby would be great for the fall, it's a gemstone, gem colors for the fall, and brown. I was suggested to wear something floral colored today, so I was like, nah, we're just gonna do floral, get straight to it. And this is one of the few floral tops that I have, and it's perfect for September. And then pop flex, of course, has to. Yeah, so this is the outfit. So the purpose of this video is to record my outfit for today, but really I look too cute not to make a video. So today I'm just gonna talk about something that's been on my mind recently, and it has been James and Fuhad. Okay, I have been an avid watcher of shits and gigs for a while now. I haven't been watching in the last couple months, but before that, there was a phase where I was really consuming their content. And I won't lie, I really did get teased that they didn't like black women, but I didn't want to believe it, but also delusional, Because, like, I wanted to enjoy something for once without having it be connected to my intersectional oppression that I face regularly just by existing. And they were funny, like they were funny until they started like making those off-colored jokes like about plus size women, um hitting women, cheating, all of that, and like that was the core of the joke, and it was like that's not funny anymore. We're past that offensive era. It wasn't consistently, but it was enough where I was like peeping it, but also where I could still enjoy it, kind of like it didn't cross the line too much for me. But like I said, I haven't been watching it for the past couple months, and so I go on TikTok because I'm chronically online, and James and Fuhad are on my For You page apologizing. And I'm like, what do you mean you have something to apologize for? What are you guys even apologizing for? And then I scroll and TikTok, the algorithming, I found the episode on Andrew Schultz's podcast. I don't follow Andrew Schultz, but I really liked him when he was on not Girl Code. Was he on Girl Code? I really liked him on Guy Code, and I liked Girl Code back in the day. And like the cast would like some of them would go on both sides. Like I know at the very least, I feel like there was a lesbian on Girl Code, and she was nowhere near on Guy Code, and some of the guys weren't on Girl Code. But I feel like Andrew Schultz was on both. I feel like he was on Girl Code, and even then, like going to MTV, that's a specific kind of humor, you know? Like, you know what you're gonna get when you go there, and it just seems like he never left there. So I don't really think I am eloquent enough to elevate some revelations that I have seen on TikTok. Like I do think that that flight or fight response stuff was bullshit, because it's like your first line, James, is there are no excuses, and then you start coming up with this fight or flight excuse, and it's like, what do you have to say? Oh, well, you heard it here, folks. That apology was terrible. But like I said, nah, I can't really like extrapolate everything they did wrong in the apology, but I feel like that apology was disingenuous because It was on their reaction channel. I could tell by the background. That's how much I used to watch them. And not on their main podcast, which, but come to find out, the joke itself wasn't even on their podcast. They were on Andrew Schultz's podcast, and he baited the fuck out of them. They just laughed over the rhetoric of black women being loud and abusive and stressful, and they didn't say anything. And I feel like we know that like, just, I don't know what it is, but black women just have this way of knowing things. It's like there's woman's intuition, then there's black intuition, and both of them together, it's that intersectionality again. It's, we can just tell about things sometimes, and I don't know them personally, but it seemed like they liked white women, and that's fine. Get whatever you like, but it's like, why is it that you can't stand up for a black woman? Why are we still doing this in the age of Aquarius? Everything is getting exposed left and right, which is why they're also getting exposed. You should have learned now, like, it was wrong. Like, you knew it was wrong at the core of it, and you didn't say anything. You just let it slide. You didn't want to rock the boat, and that was wrong. And it's not like, oh, you didn't know it was wrong. Like, you knew it was wrong. You let it slide. You let it fly when you shoulda made it die. But yeah, so let's react to some clips that I been seeing on TikTok. This is probably like, I don't know, like round 3 of this or something, day 3, I don't know. But some of the clips that I found were, I guess from Andrew's podcast or his response. But I just want to, like, I feel like I've watched this develop, and I want to see where this is at. And this is just my reaction to the latest development. Also, I found out that the apology went viral before, well, not before, but the podcast, Andrew Schultz's podcast episode came out in July, and they're just now getting the response. And because that went viral, and now you want to apologize. You didn't apologize back then, but now because it's getting attention, now you let yourself be bullied into an apology because you don't mean that apology.
We can make this fast. These two, this isn't even about Andrew Schultz, who, there's something about him that's like very SS coded, but he also kind of reminds me of like Pepper from AHS. I don't know why, but these two are in love with each other. They're not doing anything or saying anything to like impress Andrew Schultz or like throw black women under the bus. They are in love with each other. I watched enough clips of these two who I guess are trying, maybe they are the like Jesus and Miro of the UK, but the big difference is that Jesus and Miro didn't fucking like each other, and that was very clear in their fucking episodes. But these two are in love with each other. You watch how they react to each other. He, unsurprisingly, is more in love with him than he's in love with him, but I don't know, some psychologists can work that out. Watching their mannerisms, watching the like,
honestly, their bromance is something else, and they kind of look like each other, even in this photo. The way that like couples like end up looking like each other. That's funny.
like nothing he's ever
Like that is a true bromance.
said is that fucking funny. Nothing he's ever said is that fucking funny. They move the same way. They like slap their knee the same way. They cover their mouth the same way. At the same time, they are completely like symbiotic. The reason why they didn't step up to say anything in defense of black women or to like counter what Andrew was saying is because they're waiting to see what the other one would do first, because they are more responsive to each other than they are to anybody else. Is it one brain cell? Maybe. Looks like it. I don't fucking know. There is, with a lot of men out there in the world today, they are more interested, invested, more intimately connected to, by choice, the other men in their lives than they are when it comes to even the women in their lives. Because isn't one of them married to a black woman? Like, and we'll probably have black daughters, you know? Like, nothing instinctively kicked on with these black men, these black providers and protectors, when a black woman was in the sight of harm. nothing kicked on because it's not there instinctively. They've trained it out of themselves and replaced it with an undying, unwavering love and loyalty for each other. Even to even come on and say it was like fight or flight, it wasn't either of those. You didn't have an instinctive response either way. You didn't fight or flight. You sat there and just laughed because you were enjoying it. You weren't personally triggered. You weren't culturally triggered. You didn't even have the wherewithal to like pretend to be triggered. Just like having general like social awareness because it's not fucking there. We can make this fast. These two.
And you know what? I remember James pointing about how, like, in a generation or two, the Duncans won't be black. And he's like, I know that if any Duncan's gonna be black, it has to be for me. And I'm like, okay, so if that's how you feel, and you still don't stand up for black women, I kind of believe him when he says, like, oh, he likes them all. Like, okay, sure, but if you like them all, why didn't you say something? Why does it why does the conversation always have to, like, even still, it's like they have to not be allowed to build up or talk positively about black women. It's always that, oh, what about all women? But like, no, why can't we talk about us specifically positively? Okay, I don't know who Russ on Flagrant is, so we're just gonna watch this.
Really, what I think people should be like looking into is white people's fascination with black trauma.
Ooh.
That is, to me,
Talk to us.
is very bizarre because
Black people are also fascinated with black trauma.
that makes more sense because it lands and it resonates. White people are fascinated with black trauma because it's exciting to them because it's over there.
Okay.
But they can get close enough to experience it. But guess what? When it gets a little too real, they go home.
On and flat iron it.
The black man next to Andrew Schultz, who was actually married to a black woman, says, "Black women will steal your hairline." You can literally see the light go off in Andrew's head.
Go watch that video because she's.
I feel like I'm on a white man hypocrisy tour right now, but I promise it's not intentional. I just have something to say about Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz, from what I recall, has never been with a black woman. He didn't grow up in a black area. He is married to a lily white woman right now today. So how can one speak about an experience that you've never experienced? So my theory for the longest time was that he wasn't coming up with these disparaging comments about black women on his own. He could never conceptualize this hairline joke because in the white community, hairlines, going bald is not as big of a thing as it is for black men. And my suspicions were confirmed because there is a clip from 4 years ago on Flagrant 2 where he is sitting down with two guests who are black men. History repeats itself. In that video, they're poking fun at Alex Media. Alex Media is a black man in Andrew's camp. And, well, what do I say about him? His whole thing is, I'm not full black. My mom is Puerto Rican. And what blows me is his mom is black. She's a black woman. She just speaks Spanish. So he's literally the embodiment of that Godfrey meme. But I digress. The joke that follows Alex Media everywhere is that he likes white women. And the rest of the crew is joking, saying, wow, I can't believe you would waste such a great hairline on white women. The black man next to Andrew Schultz, who is actually married to a black woman, says, black women will steal your hairline. You can literally see the light go off in Andrew's head. And then he takes that little bit and he runs with it. I fucking knew it. I knew it. There was no way a white man could conceptualize that joke unless he was leashing off a self-hating black man. And so history, like I said, repeats itself. Shits and gigs goes on Flagrant 2. He makes the same joke. I also want to add that I'm not blaming anyone heavily in this video other than Andrew Schultz. I do, however, want to make clear that the men on the couch should be held accountable because in no universe should you be laying up a joke, setting up a joke for a white man to make so that all of you can laugh at the expense of black women. The reason why I'm targeting Andrew Schultz specifically is because he has a very sinister spirit. He's very reminiscent of a lot of token white boys that are allowed into space simply because they are loud and entertaining. They're not funny. There's a difference between being funny versus being loud and entertaining. He's outlandish, and that's why they accept him in their community. I feel like I'm on a white man hypocrisy tour right now.
Exactly right. And I sat through an hour and a half of Andrew Schultz to find that clip.
Son.
Jordan.
No, he got a great.
Oh fuck! That's an observation, yo.
Yo.
What?
Amin just had a great observation. The way he worded it was a little crazy. He's like, black women will steal your hairline.
I also want to show this little clip, which just proves how easy it is to just call this kind of shit out.
Y'all like, but I mean, you gonna let them hate on the sisters
bro?
like this?
What's
bro?
up, son?
You gonna let them hate on the sisters?
But he's married to a sister.
Free Palestine.
Honestly, there's nothing left to say. Other than that, apologies, bullshit, do better, speak up, and protect black women. Miel, I'm coming for you next. Not really, but my next video will be about Miel. That's kind of all I really have to say. Yeah. Leave your own opinions in the comments below, and let's chit-chat about this. And I will see you guys in another video. So I come to Atlanta pretty regularly now, right? And so I don't really stop in Atlanta and like walk the city, but like I'm just driving through where I need to be is on the edge of the city. So that's all that I do pretty much. The farthest end I go to is the aquarium, Sweet Hut, Staples. And I'm just looking at people walking while I'm driving to these locations, and it's like baddie, 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 baddie. So for James and Fuhad to say that there are no baddies in Atlanta, I saw a baddie the other day. I didn't even see her face. I saw her from behind, and I knew she was a baddie. And when I did see her face, I was like, "Yep, I knew you were a baddie. I knew." And I even saw this dude wearing a Predator helmet. That might not be James and Fuhad's taste, but like that was a baddie right there. Now, homie had on one of these. Yeah, that's a baddie.